Good afternoon. My name is Bob Furey. In the service, I was in the 3rd Battalion, Company K, 505th Airborne Infantry Regiment, 82nd Airborne Division. Formerly, formerly 555 Triple Nickel Battalion, Parachute Infantry Battalion, with the first black parachutes in the service in the Army. It got started when, as you know, all the services were segregated. And when the Sergeant Morris and a detachment were assigned to guard the parachute training ground at Fort Benning, Georgia. And after the training, Sergeant Morris got his men together and he said, they think we're not qualified, the blacks aren't qualified to be paratroopers. He said, we'll show them that we are. So we got the men together and they went on the same PT field and they were doing their exercise just like the others did, the white soldiers did. And they did this for time on. And so finally one day, the commanding general of the Fort Benning called him to his office. He said, Sergeant Morris, how would you like to be the first sergeant of the first black paratrooper unit? He was tickled pink, naturally. So they started their training, and the first 17 men graduated in 1944, and Sergeant Morris was the first sergeant of the unit, and it became the 555 Parachute Infantry Battalion. Soon after, the officers took their training and became the officers of the unit. And it became the largest battalion, black paratroopers, in the Army. So they got all their gear ready, and they said, oh boy, now we can go into combat. But there again, they didn't think the black paratroopers could go into combat. So they had orders, and they thought they were going to go into combat this time. And they got orders to go to Camp Pendleton, Oregon. This was in 1944. The Japanese were floating balloons, incendiary balloons, over into California and into Oregon, and they were setting the forest on fire. So the black paratroopers, they had them assembled there. They would fly them in and they'd drop them in the fire zone, and they'd have their shovels to put out these fires. And that was the extent of their service that they were able to perform in World War II. But they did this service valiantly, and they, as always, they did all their jobs with honor. And so therefore, when I went in the service in 1947, I went in the Air Force, and I was stationed at Lackland Air Force Base for my basic training. From there, I went to, after I got out of basic, I went to tech school in Lowry Field, Colorado. Then from there, I went to, my home base was in Eglin Air Force Base in Florida. And I was in the personnel section there. And my friend came over, he said, hey, Furey, let's go into Airborne. In paratroopers, you get $50 a month extra for jumping, you know. So I said, okay, at that time you could transfer from one branch of the service to another. So we went into the Airborne. We were stationed at Fort Benning, Georgia. We took our basic training, jump training, and made, you had to have 5 jumps to qualify. So we did that, and at that time, you go from one training area to the other. The 33-foot tower that you jump out, and it's on a trolley, and you go down the toilet, the chicken shack, and you go down to a sawdust back. From there, you can graduate to the control tower, 100-foot control tower. I know these guys know about it. From there, you went to the 250-foot tower, which is free falling with the parachute. Then you come time to, you had to pack your chutes. The chutes that you jumped, you had to pack them. So if there was any malfunctions, it was your fault. So you made sure you paid attention in this area here. There were 2 guys on a team, and you learn how you pack your chute. Next, when you got ready for it, you had to pack your 5 chutes. You get ready to jump. There you go. You jump your first chute, praying that it was open, which is the. People ask how was the. What did it feel like when you jump out the plane? I said that was my best jump of all, because you didn't know what was going to happen, and you jumped out. You counted 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. Your chute should be open by then, which it was, and. So after the 5 training jumps, then we got our wings and we graduated, and we went to Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And I was out, when we were there outside the orderly room, the clerk right there came out. He saw my MOS was 405, which was a clerk typist. So he said, okay, you're coming in here, the orderly room. You're going to be the morning clerk. You're going to be the company clerk. As he was getting ready to retire. So I said, okay. Got in there and become the clerk, so I didn't have to go out on the field on the problems or maneuvers or anything like that. So it was a pretty good job. And so therefore, and then that was up in 47, 48 when I got out of jump school. In 1950, I was supposed to be, I was at a 3-year enlistment. And so I was supposed to get discharged. My fiancé, when my mother and father had come down, they were going to drive me back home. And this was in July of 1950. Well, in June of 50, the Korean War had broken out. So therefore, when I went up to get my discharge the night before, President Truman had frozen all discharges. So they told me I could either re-enlist for 3 years or take another year on my enlistment, which I decided to do. And we went home and we got married on the 30-day enlistment that I had, and then I went back and served my other year, and then we get out. And that's the story of basically my career, which was a very exciting career, and I had 21 jumps while I was in the service, and it was very rewarding. And one time I know one story when I was up there when we jumped out of the chute, out of the plane, I was walking on top of another guy's chute. He said, "Get off my chute," because you take the air out of their chute. You stayed on there, so you had to slip away and get out of the chute. So then when we got home, like I say, we got married, and my bride of 61 years, who is now in the audience,